how can one hear except one preach to him, man? How can one go except himself? So me sit down and realize there are two things we need. So the Bible says faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word. And how can one hear except one preach to him, man? How can one go except himself?
1, 2, talk it up. Hey, you know how we do now.
Give me the mic, make me go on.
Guys, it's time for 1, 2, talk it up. Happy New Year! I heard that this is the last time I can wish you guys Happy New Year, the 7th of the month. Apparently, that's the last time we can do it. So, hey, Happy New Year, everybody listening to some DJ Nicholas. Guys, we have so much planned for you. Oops, got it, throw it away. We have so much planned for you this evening. For example, we are going to be talking about Black History Month Gala, the one being held in Virginia. We are going to be talking with none other than William E. Jones, and he is going to be telling us all about the gala, what they're going to be doing, how they're prepping for it, what's going on in the society. So come on, let's get chatting. Make me go on. What? Can you guys hear this? Facebook, Instagram, let's go. 1, 2, talk it up. 1, 2, talk it up. Hey. What? What? Woo! Yes. Make me guana.
We need some men and women to stand up in the gap here, and we need a new generation to continue the last well. And we need some elders in the church to recognize the call, to acknowledge the call. To send we out when we call with a aim and a goal and with a message to the crowd and with a poetic soul and
Hey, William.
Oh, wow.
How are you? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, and I believe all of Facebook can hear you too. Yay!
Oh, wow. This is my first time.
Oh, that's good. So I'm introducing you to Facebook Live.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody, just in case you're wondering who I'm chatting with William E. Jones, and we're going to get him to tell us all about why he's here, and get really excited. So before I go any further, guys, we got to get you to share and repost this video, because you guys are going to be doing that all year long. This is a brand new year. We have so many things planned and organized for you guys that you have to get involved and be a part of this. Okay, bring your business on, bring your talent on, bring your friends on, bring your enemies on, because we are going to be bringing everything on right now. Okay, guys? And thank you guys for joining us already. Michael, thank you for joining me. Bobby, thank you. Indra is also on. George is on. Thank you guys so much. And remember, repost and share. Hey, Flower Snook 34. How are you doing? Hey, thanks for coming on as well. That's on Instagram. So share this all over the place, guys, okay? So I'm going to lower this music so that we can start talking with none other than Mr. Jones. And I like calling your name, William E. Jones. It has that put on your armor kind of sound to it.
Yes.
So guys,
my friends call me Bill, so please call me Bill.
Okay, Bill. Okay, Bill. I'll be one of those elite friends. All right, guys, so let's just get started. And I want to pull the information up here before I go any further. And hang on 1 second here. Just give me 1 second. I want to pull this up because I want to talk about... I want to chat with you about the gala that you guys are going to be having. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about... the association, the Virginia Association, with what they're doing with regards to Black History Month, what they're doing in the society. I want to understand who you are as an association.
Well, it started back in 1999 when I was on active duty. I came to the Marine base here in Quantico, and one of the things I noticed is that for Black History Month, we were we were having soul food in the chow hall, and we had gotten together to put on a performance with a choir.
Right.
And that was good, but I thought we needed to do more to highlight the accomplishments of African Americans. There was so much more that we needed to do, and so I went to the base, to the command, and I asked them if it was okay to put together a group of volunteers to put on something more formal for African American history, and not only just for the active duty members, but for the children that were there, and for the local families. And so they gave me approval, and I put out a clarion call for some volunteers. And to my surprise, we got a lot of volunteers.
How long ago was
family
this again?
members, teachers, and everything.
How long ago
You
was
had a
this?
question?
How long ago was this?
This was now starting in 2000.
Okay, that's wow, that's a long
now,
time.
So now we're in 2000 and preparing for 2001. I did something else. I went to the local leaders of minority organizations,
Right.
and asked for their support, and told them what we were planning. Put on something formal for African American history, and again, many of them said yes.
Right.
And when they said yes, so I went to Howard University Theater and Arts Department, and I said, look, we want to do a musical play, and they did. At the time, the chaplain for the Marine Corps Navy was a Rear Admiral. He had 2 PhDs, a gifted speaker. We got up our courage and went to ask him to be the keynote speaker.
Okay.
And then we did have a choir sing several Negro spirituals, but this time it was a white choir that sang in the White House. And so we host this event. Well, to make a long story short, we were turning families away at the door at the first event because we literally had no more room to sit anyone.
So people were hungry for this.
So that's what we found out. Exactly. We found out that people were hungry for something positive for Black History Month, but not just something that they could come to, but something that they can bring the families to.
Right.
And so we found a niche that wasn't being done. Fast forward 19 years, and we're hosting the one of the largest Black History Month events in the DMV area that folks look forward to every year.
Yes.
We have an actor as a keynote speaker.
Right.
Nationally known distinguished visitors coming. The mayor, city council, presidents of organizations, and we all come together and celebrate Black History Month. And still, 19 years later, to my surprise, there will be families that will show up, ready to come in, only for us to tell them that we have no more room. So we realize that we have found something that folks look forward to every year, and we enjoy doing it. And so we're in our 19th year, and we're still having a good time celebrating Black History Month.
So I understand how it started. You guys were really a part of the community there. And it was really important. Sometimes when we see what's going on with our future, and I call children our future, I'm now that I have kids, it's like, okay, I find it hard to call children. I say, hey, look, we're my futures. It's really interesting that's how I call them. But when you see our future and you saw what they were not getting, that was your first initial service. What other ways are you guys, the association itself, what other ways are they involved directly in the community?
Oh my goodness. There's so many ways. I'll start off by saying this. Just from doing this Black History Month Gala, we began to receive requests from the community to do more.
Okay.
They said, Bill, the organization is doing a great job with this, but we want more. We want more events. We want more activities. So some of the things that we started to do were listening to the community.
Okay.
For example, when the death of Trayvon Martin happened,
Mm-hmm.
we saw the African American community come together in solidarity.
Yes.
And
Actually, I almost think
really
that, I'm sorry to cross you, but I almost think that was almost like a worldwide impact.
it was.
Yes.
It was. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to give the African American community, maybe I shouldn't even say the African American community, I should say the community at large, to have an opportunity to voice what they were feeling. And so what we did is we contacted the Congressional Black Caucus.
Right.
We contacted MSNBC. We contacted a number of people that had a voice in the community, and we put together a panel of distinguished folks, and a police officer, a teacher, anyone that would have any insight on the death of this young man and what
Right.
we were facing as the community at the time. And so we began to listen. MSNBC called in, like I said, Congressional Black Caucus called in, and they spoke to the audience. And then we did something that I hadn't seen before. We turned the microphone over to the audience, and we began to listen. And it was amazing what we heard. And for the first time, I think the community began to hear some of the concerns that they had. For example, as we began to listen about how to make changes in the community,
Right.
I asked one question. I said, how many of you actually get out and vote? And when I saw the few hands that were raised, we saw our next town hall. That's what we called it.
Right.
We saw our next town hall that we needed to have. And so the school board, the local school board was there at the time, and they said, hey, we need your support, community, because the school board is making the decisions about our children, and we need more of you there to
Yes.
represent. And so it was sort of if you want to make a change in your community, this is what you need to do. It was a wake-up call for a lot of us. And our next town hall was education on voting. So that's some of the ideas that we were doing. I'll tell you one more thing, and answer your next question. The next thing that we're planning on doing is another thing that we heard in that Trayvon Martin meeting, and that is paying for education.
Pain, P-A-I-N?
So, paying for
Oh,
education.
paying. Okay, gotcha.
Paying for education and having the ability to go to school. What we found out is that there's still a lot of first generation children going to college. And so that means parents who have never been to college don't understand the process in getting into college and staying in college and paying for college. Just last year, we ran into a young man that was sung opera. And
Yes.
he sung opera on a national level. And so he was excited to be the first one to go to college in his family. And so he went off to college, did a great job singing opera. After the first semester, they asked for the balance to pay for that semester. And he looked at them and he says, wait a minute, I've already paid for that semester. And they said, yes, you need to finish paying for that semester and the next semester. And he looked at them puzzled because no one in his family had ever been to college. He thought once he got in,
Right.
that he was fine. Well, make a long story short, after that first semester, they sent him home. And so the organization began to rally behind this young man, and we were able to contact one of the schools that were looking for musicians to sing opera. And as a result of our contact, we were able to get him a full ride into college. So what we want to do as an organization is to gather this information on how the process into getting into college, and locate all of those opportunities out there, because there's many that will be willing to pay for college, whether it's small scholarships or large scholarships. We're going to put it all in the package and spend a day educating the community on how to get into college, how to stay into college, and then how to pay for college. So that's where we're going, what we're doing outside of this celebrating Black History Month.
So that specific young man, I'm actually a little intrigued now. What is he up to now? What is he doing now? He's still in college.
So so I can't remember the name of the college, but he is now a full-time student in college.
Right.
One of the I want to say one of the deans of the college, her mother is one of the members of the organization. So she called the college and said, we have a talented young man that sings opera. And she was able to talk to the president of the college, and they brought him in for an interview, and the rest was history. They gave him a full ride for school.
That is fantastic. I'm hoping that you guys keep tabs and let everybody know what's going on with him, because I also remember, she's not in the U.S., but I also remember there was a lady in Africa that she basically is one of the first pilots, female Black pilots. So it would be good to be able to, we hear about the good news, and it will be good to really just continue following up and keep clapping and applauding, and keep the encouragement going. And I think also what's really good with doing that is to, they're going to be right there in the front all the time, so it may be a little bit easier for them to be employed and that sort of thing. So we gotta say hi to a couple of people, and George is saying hello, Bill. That's your friend, right?
That's my uncle, my mentor.
Okay, got it. And I think the event is outstanding as well. Outstanding Allium event. The gala is first class. I completely agree. That's George Rudolph.
That George,
We've got
that's another George, yes.
And so we're on Instagram Live as well. So Facebook is seeing and hearing, while Instagram is hearing, because, we're only in one place at a time. So one guy, Adrian, he likes how you're talking. He likes the direction that you're going. And he says, first you got to get rid of Trump, though. It's not that clear cut. And Adrian says, once that character is out of the way, he and his trolls, we as Black people can move forward, and the Democrats need to keep it together and don't let his constant tweets scare them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's great when we can say that, but all of us know that when it comes to politics, it's not just, get rid of him, let's move on, next. No, that's not really how it is, because and I was having the discussion today, it's a club.
Yes.
So as much as you may want to get rid of the president, the club is who's pushing everything forward. So then you vote another person in that might be doing similar things, maybe 70% similar, and, but we are talking about the Black History Month Association of Virginia.
Yes.
All right. And it's really good. A lot of times when you have associations come and they share, you will know of one or two things that they're doing, and they have events like the gala, and it's beautiful, and it's pomp, and it's pageantry, and it's everything else that goes with it. But then you hardly hear, we were out doing this, or we were out doing that, or we were helping. You hardly ever hear that. You hear the request for donations. You hear the request to come help us do this and come help us do that.
Right.
But they're collecting dues. So I'm really glad and happy to hear a functional association. And when Dr. Eve invited me the first time, I was like, yes, I want to go. I want to see what's going on. And then you guys had Lamont Rucker. So, it's a whole lovely drink of water there. It's fantastic. I must admit, I'm a girl, okay? I gotta say it. But it was really fantastic. It was really wonderful. I enjoyed it completely. The interactions, the experience to me was amazing. To get involved with it and so on. So I want to find out from you how, if I wanted to join your association, how could I join your association? Oh, and guys, before I go any further, remember that you gotta share and repost this, even on Instagram. Instagram, and just use Regram, and that's gonna help you to just share it to your page. And Facebook, you got it easy. Just share it, repost it, tell everybody. Please don't share it back to my page. That makes no sense. Some people have been doing that. So if I wanted to be a part of, hi Simon, thanks for coming on. And I gotta say hi to Instagram because we also have Sky Vaughn is on, as well as Demolition Man and Flower Snooky. They're on. Right. So tell me, how can I join the association?
So it's very easy. You really just go to our website.
What's your website?
www.vabhma.com.
I'm a little slow, so I'm
That's all right.
I'm gonna type it in here now. Hang on one second. It's what is this? Okay. Oh my. I'm getting some messages. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'll read them in a little bit. So it's the association's website. Once I get this out of the way.
You ready?
No, because everything keeps coming up. Okay, go ahead.
So it's V as in Victor, BA, BHM, which stands for Black History Month, and then the letter A for association. .com.
Got it. All right, I'm gonna post this and pin it so that people can know. Okay, so they go to that website.
Yep. So they go to the website and they can click on information or send me an email. And what we'll do is we'll respond and send an email and send them the application. It's literally $25 a year.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, $25 a year, and you'll get a pen, a lapel pen that says you're part of the organization. And then, we'll share with you the bylaws and other things.
Okay.
So it allows you to become, as I believe, part of a family.
Yes. And
so what we do is we come together, several times a month, and we sit down at the table and we literally plan the event. I think what's different about our meetings that we have is the first thing that we do when we have the meeting is we open up with prayer.
Okay.
Because we want the Lord's guidance in all of this.
Right.
The second thing that we do is we remind everyone that we leave the drama outside the door. Because when we're meeting, we're literally planning for the future. A lot of kids are there, a lot of families, and so this is the time for us to come together and not to be divisive with one another. It's time for us to come together, and so the highest thing that we can do is to respect others' opinions and others' ideas. So I always like to start that off to remind people of who we are, why we're here, and what we're doing, and the importance of what we're doing, so that we don't get bogged down with that's a bad idea or I don't like that person.
Right.
We try to leave all the drama outside the door. So we remind folks of that, of why we're here. And so what we found out is that people come and they share their ideas and they have a wonderful time. A lot of times folks don't want to go home because they're having such a good time fellowshipping with one another. But we're planning the event. And if anything, folks are saying that they want more meetings
a month
rather than less meetings. A month, yes.
Wow.
They want more meetings, more time to get together. But because I'm involved in church, I have a family,
yes.
Work, there's only so much that I can do. But the organization really loves coming together. And here's the surprising part, is that we have people come all the way from D.C., all the way from Richmond, even as far as West Virginia, they drive to the meetings to come and fellowship with us. And they look forward to sitting down at the table and planning next year's event.
No, you've got me peaked to wonder, hold on, what's going on in these meetings that people from the entire DMV area is, next thing you're going to tell me is Pennsylvania is coming.
You know, when in
shut
terms
up.
of the event, no, in terms of the event, we have
yes.
members that fly in from Birmingham, Alabama,
Yes.
Pennsylvania, Atlanta, North Carolina. I mean, they're just literally coming from all over. So we try to do our best to make sure that we do things, in accordance with,
Correct.
Respect for one another, and most importantly, respecting the elders that came before us. We have to keep in mind that this is why we're doing this, so that we bring awareness to their contributions.
Okay, so I just want everybody to know we're speaking right now to William Jones. You're the president, correct, of the association?
I am.
William is the president of the Black History Month Association of Virginia, and they're actually going to be having their gala in February, and we'll be chatting that with him about that in just a minute. But just in case you guys are interested in joining the association, it's $25 per year, per annum, and using Old English here, per annum. And it's really interesting as he's talking, and as you are listening. I know that Instagram can't see, but you can hear. Remember, guys, to repost and share the video, please. That's what I need you to do. You will hear and understand what the association is doing in the society, as well as how they are serving their members as well. So, so continue.
So I guess one of the other things is the event.
Yes.
We have several events a year.
Okay.
That we do consistently. One is the gala, which is of course the premier event. The other thing is the prayer breakfast. We start off Black History Month with a prayer breakfast that's hosted on the base, and we usually bring in a children's choir and a keynote speaker. And it's roughly about 200 people, and we get the base involved, and that has grown over the years.
Right.
That ballroom holds about 325 people, and we put about 200 people in there. So that's a wonderful event, but it also gives us the opportunity to tell more people about what we're doing at the end of the month.
Okay.
Traditionally, we have a chapel service. The chapel service has... the leader has stepped down, so we haven't done it. But I think what we're going to be doing is, one of the things that I realize is that we really shouldn't be reinventing the wheel. What we should be doing is supporting other organizations that are planning other events,
right,
and other activities. So what we do is we point the community to other events, yes, that's happening. Probably the oldest event is the Black History Month luncheon that takes place in Washington, D.C. And so that's another event that happens. And then there's several churches that have events for Black History Month. So we're pointing to those other events, and then they're pointing to us. So what we want to do is
now this is what you call working together. And quite often we hear people will say, Blacks don't support their own, and why don't you see how the white people are doing it? They stick together, and the Jews and the this and this and so on and so forth. But when you find associations or not associations, let me say, when you find people, because the people make up the association. So when you find people who are willing to do this, and leadership is important. I'm gonna pat you on the back, and I'm gonna point at you and say, good idea, good job. I know that the committee does it together. But you have to be open. But you have to be open to not be at loggerheads with. So this is a fantastic compliment to us that we are working together and consistent for 20 years now.
Yes, I'm going to talk about year 20 in a minute. But we're at 19 years. But there's something really amazing happening in the year 20 that I will share with you later. But yes, it's 19 years in the making, and so. Now it is I say the event of the year. It really, is, a lot of folks look forward to the event and what's happening. And so here we are, 19 years later, and we're still doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate doing it for 19 years. I really thought that someone else would take over. But what I'm finding out is that, as you look towards someone else to be a better leader, more progressive, sometimes it's you to continue on in this legacy. So,
right.
So for now, it's me. But somewhere down the line, there's someone else that's going to pick up the mantle and continue on.
So I want to talk about the events that you have coming up, because you mentioned a few others of other organizations, but I want to find out about yours. What this gala that's happening in February that I myself am excited about.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to be. We don't want to do the same thing that everyone else is doing.
Right.
That's rule number one. We want to be different. So we want to involve the community in the event. And so what has happened is over the years, I've reached out to a number of different celebrities and asked them to be involved in our event. And to my surprise, folks have said yes. Roland Martin, Dr. Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, Stedman Graham, Oprah Winfrey's significant other. A number of them have said yes about participating in our event because they said they like what we're doing. And so now we've gotten this consistent celebrity speaker every year.
But why are you, and I know it might be an obvious response, but why are you choosing to have a celebrity speaker?
Well,
as opposed to a pastor or a preacher, as our culture may be accustomed to.
Well, my initial thought was the best way to have people come out is to get their attention.
Correct.
And if I use it all the time. I say the same thing. That if we have Coach Fred that's doing great things in the community as a keynote speaker, folks might not come out. I mean, we would get folks to come out, but we wouldn't get the numbers that we're having.
Right.
But when I say Laz Alonso, the actor from the movie Jumping the Broom and a number of other movies, is the keynote speaker, and he's coming, then we get people's attention, yes. And so the idea is to get people's attention and then spend that time educating them on the accomplishments of African Americans.
Right.
So that's why we go to the celebrities to bring them in. And what we're finding out is that they're waiting by the phone for opportunities like this to speak to the community about Black history. So
wow.
It's a win-win for us.
That's good to know that they're waiting for opportunities. So why did you choose Laz Alonso for this year?
Well, every year we started off with prayer, and we'll do it again, the next year too. We started by the prayer, and we asked the Lord, who do you have for us the next year? And so we began a search. Mm-hmm. And I can only tell you, by the grace of God, after receiving so many no's, there's one person that says yes. And then when that person says yes, then the search is over. And so Laz Alonso ended up being one of the few that said, not but yes, but Bill, absolutely, I'll be there. And so when we get that type of confirmation from a celebrity, we know that is the person. And so, as we say in the military, we pin the rose on that individual, and we work out an agreement, time and place, and then everything else sort of just falls into place. Once we have the keynote speaker and the facility of where we're going to do it, everything else falls into place. And so the next thing we do is we look in the community to find the right guest of honor. And so that's the second part of it. So can I talk about the guest of honor? I mean,
feel free.
I'm excited.
You keep getting these drinks of water. I don't understand what's wrong with you, but go on. Feel free. Go right ahead.
So we reached out to a number of guest of honors this year, and again, I'm always surprised, when they tell me yes. So the first one we reached out to was her name is Alelia Bundles is her name, and she was a producer for ABC News. She's also an author, but what I know her for is she is the great-great-granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker.
Right.
And, of course, Madam C.J. Walker was the first African-American millionaire,
yes, because
she invented hair care products that took care of women's hair. And, so, of course, that was she started a booming industry. Not only did she become a millionaire, but she trained other African-American women on how to sell the products and how to present them, and sort of turned this business into something that everyone could do. I mean, she shared her wealth. And so I talked to Dr. Alelia Bundles, and she was honored to come to the event and to talk to our kids about the accomplishments of her great-great-grandmother. So that's our first guest of honor is Alelia Bundles.
Okay.
The next one is someone that I have been chasing for a while, and his name is Jesse Holland. And Jesse Holland is the author of the book Black Panther. And so I'm excited about having him because, I didn't, at the time I didn't realize that the author of the book was an African American.
Right.
He came up with the idea of Wakanda and the backstory of Black Panther. He worked for Marvel Comics, and so I was able to get an opportunity to speak with his agent, and again, we told him about what we were doing, and again, it was a Bill absolutely will be there, so I'm excited about meeting him, of course, getting a copy of his book, Black Panther, and so Dr. Jesse Holland is also coming.
Yes.
So our third guest of honor is someone that I did not know existed.
You mean a fourth or a third? Okay, yes.
The third one. I didn't know existed, and every year I'm always surprised that about the history that is not known within the African American community.
Right.
And so I got a call from a friend, and they said, "Bill, have you heard about the Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr.?" And I said, "No, I don't know the name Wheeler Parker Jr." They said, "Bill, Reverend Parker is the cousin and the last living eyewitness to the death of Emmett Till."
Wow.
And of course, Emmett Till was killed in 1950, I believe, in the Deep South. And the story is that Emmett Till is from Chicago, and he came to Alabama, and allegedly he had whistled at a lady that worked at an establishment, and so they came to get Emmett Till. When I talked to Wheeler Parker's wife, she said first when they came to get him, they flashed the flashlight into Wheeler Parker's eyes first, and they said, "No, that's not him." And so they went to the bed next to Wheeler Parker, and that was Emmett Till, and they took Emmett Till out of the bed, and of course you know the rest of the story. Yeah. The death of Emmett Till was the catalyst for the civil rights movement because they had just murdered a 14-year-old boy because they thought he had whistled at someone, and so that started the Montgomery bus boycott, which of course catapulted the civil rights movement. So will he be speaking? So yes, he's going to be one of our guest of honors, and he will he will give the opening prayer,
Right.
and then he will also be given an opportunity to say a few words. And he hasn't spoken much about it, and it's been 50 years since the death of Emmett Till.
Well,
Of course, it's in the news again.
I've never heard of him, so this is going to be quite interesting to hear.
Yeah. So, everyone else is gone.
Mm-hmm.
The people that had committed this atrocity are gone, and so this is one of the few times that he's spoken about it. He's written a book about it. His first book, and so I believe his book is going to make its debut at our gala.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to meeting Reverend Wheeler Parker at our event. And so the last one is I'm really excited about meeting, and his name is Anthony Ray Hinton.
Okay.
And Anthony Ray Hinton in 1987 was arrested for a murder that he did not commit. And as a result of that, they pinned the murder on him. And Anthony Ray Hinton spent 30 years on death row for a crime he did not commit.
What?
It wasn't until a lawyer, his name is Stevenson, found his case, looked at the ballistics, and he had the nation's top ballistics expert, 4 different ones. Look at the bullets from
evidence
from the person that was murdered, and they compared it to the weapon, and they all 4 said that this was not the weapon. And so, after spending 30 years in a 5x7 cell, not seeing the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, or anything for 30 years.
That's really
when they
small.
finally released him from prison, and he walked outside, he looked up at the sun and said, "The sun does shine." And so that's the name of his book, "The Sun Does Shine." And so his book fell into the hands of Oprah Winfrey, and she began reading the book.
Right.
And she couldn't put it down. And so before you know it, she was on I believe it's on CBS Today show, and they told his story with Oprah Winfrey next to him. And it is said that Oprah Winfrey hasn't been this excited about a book since The Color Purple. And
Wow.
so when I contacted Anthony Ray Hinton, he was in Africa giving a speech. And so I told him about what we were doing, and he said, "Bill, absolutely, I will be there at the event." So I'm looking forward to meeting Anthony Ray Hinton. He is a man of great character, and he comes out of prison for 30 years with impeccable character and a distinguished man, and I'm looking forward to meeting this author. It's a wonderful book, and I encourage everyone to go out and buy it. So those are our 4 guests of honor that we're going to have at this year's gala.
This is exciting stuff. And when you were talking about the guy that was not the guy, let me not say the guy, but when you were talking about Mr. Hinton, I was just some stories that I've heard, some true stories of people who were arrested wrongfully, or
Yes.
not just arrested, but incarcerated wrongfully. And
Yes.
I also heard of one guy, he said, he just took a plea because he ran out of money trying to fight.
Yeah.
And this is a really common story. So I'm wondering then, should we be still calling it Black History Month, or just, because it's no longer history, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like a daily news. I'm not putting any pegs in a round hole there. I'm just saying, I'm not saying change the name. Don't misunderstand me. It's just just so many current things going on right now. It makes you wonder. History isn't just repeating itself. History is being made every minute.
Yes. We're going to do something different this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, and I haven't put it out there in social media yet,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a young man that was killed by the name of Botham Jean. And Botham Jean is from St. Lucia.
Yes.
He's a naturalized citizen.
Mm-hmm.
We know Botham Jean because he was killed in his own apartment by a police officer. And so he was an outstanding citizen, a graduate from college, worked at Price Waterhouse, sang in the choir, 26 years old.
That's just what we Caribbean people do.
And so it was just sad to see him killed in his own apartment. And so what Botham Jean did is he had a red carpet in front of his apartment to distinguish his apartment from everyone else's apartment.
Right.
And so what we're going to do in honor of Botham Jean is that we're going to walk the red carpet at our gala. So I've invited a number of media types, television, radio, to come and to interview our keynote speaker, our guest of honor, and all of our distinguished visitors and VIPs, and anyone else that walks the red carpet, to interview them live on radio and hopefully television, and in honor of Botham Jean and all the other young African-American males that have, unarmed African-American males that were killed in the hands of police. So we're going to walk the red carpet in 2019. So I'm excited about it. Of course, I'm looking forward to you being there, interviewing our distinguished visitors. I think they're looking forward to, but it's just our way to bring awareness of what's happening within our community.
And just to point out again about the Botham Jean, because I mentioned him, yes, because he is St. Lucian. And when I hear of a fellow Caribbean person, and when you said, when you said the excellent things he was doing, I had to say, that's just what we Caribbean people do, because when we go, we push extra, because you just have to. Failing is not an option. There's an artist from back home that says giving up is not an option. It's not just military. When it comes to life, you just really, really have to keep pushing, push a little harder, move a little faster, go a little further. And he is an example of what it means to just be pushing. And amazingly enough, his reputation preceded everything else that they tried to do against it. So it's fantastic that this is going to be happening.
Absolutely.
I look forward to it.
I have to tell you, the highlight of the evening for me is watching the kids. We have a children's writing contest. Watching the kids go up and get their awards. And also, we do a scholarship in honor of Dr. James Farmer. Watching the kids get that. But really the highlight of the evening for me turns to as we move towards the end of the evening. And that is we find a couple in the audience. And it's usually a couple that's going through a difficult time. In the past, it's been a couple that lost a child, a teenage child, a couple that, where their young 4-year-old daughter has stage 4 cancer. And we identify that couple. And so we find out the story of how they met.
Okay.
And so we have a local pastor to come to the platform. And he tells the story of how this couple met.
Wow.
And so the couple is unaware that we're going to tell their story. And so in the midst of the story, I'm sure the husband and wife looks at each other and say to themselves, sweetheart, wait a minute, they're talking about us. And so the pastor calls them forward. And he gives them counsel on how to make it in difficult times, and how to keep the family together, and the importance of the family. And he gives them spiritual counsel. And then we have them turn around, and then we have a broom that was made, usually made by my wife, and we have them to jump the broom, which is the old slave tradition back in the 1800s, to show that they're married. And so we provide them the broom, and then we shower them with gifts and other things, and talking with the families after the fact.
Right.
What they say is that, Bill, we have gone through a difficult time, but we had such a wonderful time at the event that the organization took the time to recognize their struggle, that just for a night,
Yes.
they forget about their worries and their cares, and they greatly appreciate what we do for them.
Right.
And so for me, that is the highlight for me, because, we try to help, as many families as we can.
Yeah.
But just for one night, we help one family that's going through a difficult time
Well,
and show them a wonderful evening, during Black History Month.
I'm hoping that everybody comes and they have a wonderful night. It's going to be on the 23rd of February, guys.
Yes.
And it's just, correct me if I'm wrong, it's $99, correct?
It's $90.
It's $90. Okay.
$99 is for the hotel. For the
Okay.
hotel, it's $99. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
And you may get the opportunity to meet Laz Alonso as well as Miss Bundles and Reverend Wheeler and Mr. Hinton, as well as Black Panther author Jesse Holland. So make sure you guys come out on the 23rd, and it starts. Remind me of the time. It starts at 6.
So we start at 6 o'clock, but we have a VIP social that the VIPs meet with the guest of honor and the keynote speaker privately in a room, take pictures,
Right.
eat hors d'oeuvres, have a wonderful time, and then at 6 o'clock the event starts, and that's when the magic happens, and we're all excited.
And
about
I
it.
need to share this with you guys. I went to it last year. You are going to not just, apart from the honorees and the guest speaker and everyone else, you get to rub shoulders with some very interesting people there as well. So just, even if you just come and just experience the gala itself, it's fantastic. I enjoyed it. Last year you had the Potomac Choir. Is it the Potomac Choir?
We had Tacoma Park
Academy Choir.
Tacoma Park.
Close.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and their voices phenomenal, guys. I love music, so it was phenomenal. It was amazing. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. And remember, if you want to join up, you can go to VABHMA, and can I do military? Victor Alpha Bravo Hotel Miami Alpha.com.
Yes. Yes.
All right, and just go to the website and check it out and join up. $25 a year is amazing, and for me personally, I don't think I can meet a couple of times a month. But what do you do with the people who can't meet even for
It's
the
funny
entire
you should
month?
say that, because what we realize is that everyone can't make every meeting. And
What about
so
no meetings
what we
at
do,
all?
Yeah. What we do is there's certain tasks that need to be done that you might not make any meetings, and so it's things like our scholarship panel. They meet privately to decide who's the winner of the scholarship, or the writing contest.
Okay.
They meet privately. So there's a number of things that need to be done behind the scenes that you might not ever come to a meeting. Sometimes the only thing you can do, there's a number of youth groups that come. There's an all-girls boarding school that come, and they come and we pay for half of their fees. There's a group that comes. They're called the B Club. They're from the Carl Sandburg Middle School, and for the past 15 years, one donor has paid for 20 kids to come every year to the event. One donor pays for 20 kids to come. Now those kids, they've been coming for the past 15 years. Those kids have went on to college, graduated from college, got married, and now they're bringing their own kids to our gala. That's how long we've been doing this. And so when I see things like that,
I just want you to know that. So Adrian said that he signed up. Would this apply to people in the Caribbean or only in the States? So Adrian joined up for the association, and he's in Barbados. All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's in Barbados.
Wow.
And he said, would this apply to people in the Caribbean or only in the States? What you were just talking about.
You mean working in terms of supporting the organization?
Yes.
There is so much to do behind the scenes. So much to do. Sometimes, like taking on the bulletin and reading the bulletin, make sure there's no mistakes. There's a team of people that perform those tasks that never come to meetings. There is just absolutely so much that needs to be done
Right.
that we can't do it all, that we farm it out to different people that are far away that participate in the event. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot to do.
We've got about 4 minutes. So Jennifer Stith, I hope I pronounced that correctly,
Yes,
Jennifer.
yes.
Last year was the first time, like me, I attended, and I am really looking forward to attending this year again. Definitely looking forward to attending. Like I said, it was fantastic. And whoever didn't get a chance to come to the event, you should don't just drool at the thought of coming. You should just turn up. So yes, so I heard about this though. That girl that with the big hair and the big nose and the big eyes, yeah, she mentioned it, so I'm coming.
Got you.
All right. So anything else you want to add before we wrap up and before I turn up my
Yes.
music?
One last thing. So we just got the announcement that our 20th anniversary, which is next year, that the African American Museum of History and Culture has allowed us to use their facility to host our 20th event. I'm not going to tell you who the speaker is,
That's okay.
but she is a very exciting woman. I'll just say that. I can't divulge who it is, but
Well,
she's excited.
that's good news because right now the museum is closed.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. They gave us the news just before they went on furlough.
Wow, that's fantastic news. Well, I'm gonna be there, and Bill, thank you so much for joining me. Do you want to get
Yes.
some Caribbean music before you go?
Yes.
Do you want some Caribbean music? All right, let me get you.
Bring it on.
All right, hold on. I was just about to play some Canton Jones. He ain't Caribbean. Hold on. Let me get you some. Oh, you know what? This young lady that I'm about to play, she hasn't made any music in a while, but her first album was amazing. This is Dana, and this one's called Smile.
Wow.
Can you guys hear that? Love it. And she's from Barbados. Love it. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Bill, for sharing. And I'm going to get you on again before the event comes back. Okay, it comes on.
Okay.
So that we can get some updates and how things are going, and and everything else. We talked for almost an hour. Wow.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity to
Thank you, too.
Spend time with you.
No problem. Thank you too so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. See you. Bye-bye.